If we were made in his image, then call us by our names. Most intellects do not believe in God, but they fear us just the same. Oh.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Killa podcast. Huh? Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Today we have Eli.
What's up, bro?
All right, I had to go big for a second. You got to start with good energy.
Yes.
Or else it feels weird. It's been a while, dude.
Yes, it's been a minute.
I always feel like, dude, you see how fucking, I think it's
Is
OCD.
it recording?
Yeah, it's definitely recording. I feel like I'm cutting myself out. Right off the bat, Eli, you want to promote?
Oh, sure. What am I promoting? The album?
Just whatever you want.
We're
your album, your social, anything.
Oh, bet. Are you releasing this after the album's out? Because the album, by the way, the album will be out in within the next month. But I'm not telling people that it'll be out then. So you can cut this out. Or,
okay.
No, it'll probably be out by the time you release this. I don't know.
It can. So I can release it whenever you want, really.
I'm going to have it out super soon, but I'm just not telling anybody, and then I'm just going to drop it.
Ooh,
and
that's
then promote
nice.
it on the back end.
Cool.
So we can just talk about it like it's out already.
I'm glad I haven't talked about it on the podcast.
No, it's okay. People know I've told people I'm making an album or whatever, but
yeah,
it's I don't know. I don't even know the exact date I'm going to release it, but I'm just going to drop it.
So I recorded a solo yesterday, and my plan before learning this was I'm going to record this today, put it out this coming Monday, and the Monday after that, I can put out the solo I recorded yesterday. But I can just hold this off. I can put out solos until the album comes out, because I do want to talk about the album.
Yeah.
I listened to it.
No,
I want to talk about it.
Okay, but
as
long as you're cool with that.
Yeah, if you want it to wait, because I'm just going to keep recording episodes every week, no matter what.
Yeah.
So if you want it to wait, I can.
That would be fire.
Yeah.
But it'll be out very soon, though. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then go ahead and promote it.
Okay. Sweet. What's up? I'm Eli Yacinthe, and I have an album out now. I guess by the time you're watching this, called Patience. It's a 15-song album. Hope you'll check it out on Spotify, wherever you listen to music. Tidal. Shout out Tidal. And yeah. Thanks for having me. Thanks for always being willing to take me in when I come into town, bro.
Of course, dude. Thanks for coming back, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure, aren't you doing some actual radio and stuff, too?
Yesterday I did some radio in Charlotte. Yeah, I have some local friends over there. Greasy Keys, Jason Atkins.
Maybe by face.
He plays, he's a really great guy, man. Really sweet guy. I've known him for a while. We opened for Albert Lee a while back, and he plays organ. And he plays organ for the Checkers and stuff, and the big games and stuff in Charlotte. He's the guy up there on the organ playing, and but he's also a great session musician. He plays a lot in Charlotte, and he is now working with a group up there called R Beats Radio, which is really cool. Just local media, and they cover a lot of indie music in Charlotte.
Damn, dude.
Yeah,
that's sick as hell, man. Do you get nervous for stuff like that?
Not really, no.
Do you get nervous ever?
I do. I do. I get very nervous, bro.
Good.
The last time I was really, really nervous, I was at this jam in New York a few weeks ago. It was the first time I had been, and it was just a different vibe, and I was just shaking in my boots.
Yeah.
Before I played, because in that context, it's always weirder, especially with that one. It's it was an all improv jam, so it was and not only that, but it was all improv, but it's R&B soul, so it's people improvise lyrics, a lot of people were rapping shit, and they wanted me to sing and play.
Yeah.
So I was oh my God, I have to improvise lyrics and sing the melody, and then try and play guitar, and we're all making this up on the spot. And I was really nervous to do it because I really wanted to make a good impression, because it's honestly the first time I stepped out into New York into the jam scene like that.
And New York is huge. There's
a
lot of world-class everything in New York.
Yeah.
Like food, art, everything.
Yeah. I've fallen in love with that city, bro. I mean, I see why so many people do, you know? It's just...
When you get nervous, do you get jelly finger? Or are you experienced enough to not get jelly? Because if I get nervous and I'm about to play live, my hands just, for some reason, want to be weak.
For sure. I mean, for me, I don't know that I feel it in my fingers when I'm nervous. When I'm nervous, I feel like I really feel it in my like overall my body. Like I feel my heart will race, you know, I might start getting warm a bit.
Yeah.
And I just kind of feel like trembly. I just kind of feel weak.
Yeah.
You know, like almost like I can't stand up fully.
Yeah, you're
like I'm about to pass out. Yeah.
I feel it right in my fucking chest too, like a weird bubble in my chest.
Yeah. It's a weird feeling, but like it's one that I'm trying to learn to embrace and welcome, and like I've been telling everybody recently that I'm the most uncomfortable I've ever been in my life, but also the happiest I've ever been in my life, you know? And
damn, hell yeah.
And I think that like they feed each other, you know what I mean?
Dude, it's common amongst UFC fighters. They say amongst themselves, if you're not nervous, you're probably going to do bad.
Yeah. Probably going to lose the fight if you're not nervous, right? You know, because you don't have that fight in you. It's like,
yeah.
But yeah.
Dude, so this album is pretty, and I guess like all the music you have on streaming platforms is this type of way, but it's very vulnerable.
Thank you, bro.
You go deep.
Thanks. I mean, I try to be like that just in my normal life too. My friends, people I love, and just to like try and set that's the kind of example that I would like to set too, and the kind of example that I really appreciated seeing in musicians that I love, like putting themselves into their art and being honest and being willing to speak out and like bring people together. I love that.
Hell yeah, dude. Is putting an album out, do you feel like nervous, not nervous, like anxious about it, or are you just very excited to have a finished body of work that's gonna be out and it's out?
I think I'll feel it when I'm going in there and like it's like the day before it's about to come out. I think I feel it a lot.
Yeah.
I think right now I've just been sitting on it for a minute and I'm just like, holy shit, like I'm so ready for this to drop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so a little bit of that nervousness has faded just because it's been so long. And I've been so eager to release it. I'm really, really ready to have my first album out.
Yeah. It's really cool too. Another thing is like for me with maintaining work, trying to stay somewhat fit, doing the podcast and doing music, like just those 4 things, I can start to feel burned out. Like I didn't do, I think 3 weeks of an episode for the pod just because I was fucking running out of stuff to talk about and didn't feel like doing it. I got so tired of solo episodes. Do you feel burnout when you're like doing school, like in like the ending of school, like graduating, going through all that, mixing, and I guess are you mastering now? Because some songs sounded mastered.
I'm doing some mastering.
Yeah.
I on this album I've done some like master processing. I wouldn't say I've really mastered the songs. I kind of want them to have more of like a homemade feel and like but I am getting into mastering. It's funny they said that because I was taking a class this semester and I love it, and something I'm trying to get more into, because
they do have that feel. Like Run Away With Me, it feels full as though it's been mastered.
Yeah, that one is definitely one of the more commercial ones on the album. And that one was also released as a single, so I think I did a little bit more like final master processing as I was like really putting it out into the world, you know.
And not that the other ones don't sound full. I'm not saying that, but like Run Away With Me, just it felt louder in my headphones.
Yeah,
it felt like everything was raised in my headphones.
Yeah. Well, and also too, like for sure, like I think the album in general has a demo quality to it. And that's something that I really was like, I've sat and thought about and listened to tracks, and there'll always be like stuff where like, oh, I think I should change that or mix that differently. But one of the things that I really am trying to embrace in my like kind of creative journey is being able to accept something where it is, release it, move on, and be like, okay, it'll get better and better. And like I was telling Jason yesterday, I was like, it's always such a good memory to go back and you hear your lyrics and you're like, oh, this is who I was back then. You hear your melodies and you're like, oh, this is how I was making melodies back then. But then also for me, it's another layer where I'm able to be like, oh, I hear my mixes and I'm like, I mixed this and this is where my ear was at that point. This is how I was hearing this song and I thought this sounded really good, you know? And it's just another layer of that, like, you know, lore that I get to go back and experience when I listen to my old tracks.
You told me that the last time you were here, and I really took that to heart. Like, whenever I'm trying to do a mix on Ableton, instead of spending, 14 hours messing with the mix, do 7. Yeah. And then, like, that's probably as good as it's going to get. It's going to be different if I keep doing it. Yeah. But it's going to be as good as it's going to get. Yeah. And that's just where I'm at with my musicianship and my mixing ability, and that should be released, because just sitting on it for days and weeks and months for just like a TikTok cover video, it's like you don't need to do all that.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, like, I really think creative mixing is where it's at, and that's kind of like where how my school will differentiate between commercial mixes and mixes that are not commercial. They call them creative mixes. Yeah, and like half the time, bro, actually most of the time, like for instance, like my school would send me a folder of mixes for referencing to whatever mix we're doing, and there'd be commercial mixes in the folder, and then there'd be a section of creative mixes. Yeah. And they would ask us to like talk about the difference of the two, you know?
Interesting.
And they wanted us to pick out like, they were like, what do you think, like, if you had to pick songs, if you had to name, 5 songs to use as a reference, what 5 songs would you pick for a commercial release and why, and what brings them to that level of being a commercial release? So it's almost like setting the tone that commercial release is like the standard that we should aim for. But the funny thing was that I would listen to all these tracks, and honestly the commercial releases were ass, and I loved the mix and the content, the quality of the music, the lyrics, the melody of the creative, what they called the creative mixes. That's how the creative mixes. Yeah. And like that to me like speaks volumes. It's like I like that sound anyways. There's a reason why I like Tribe Called Quest. Tribe Called Quest has like hella fucking bass. Like their bass is mixed in so heavy. Like if you gave a Tribe mix to like, I don't know, like some like top 20 pop guy, they'd be like, it'd be a nightmare for them. Yeah. They'd be like, oh my God, there's so much, like the vocal needs to be cleaned up, whatever. But that's why there's soul in the music, bro. That's the sound. And like I love that, and I want to bring that into my music.
Yeah, it almost adds like a whole different texture to it, the creative mix, where it we're so used to stuff sounding pristine, especially if all you listen to is the radio. Yeah. But like there's certain textures to certain artists. Like you listen to old Wu-Tang Clan, and it's not perfectly mixed.
Not at all.
At all, dude.
It's janky, actually, bro. It's like the vocals really would be fucked up, and like, but that's the character. It's very janky,
but that music, like, it's not very popular, but people still talk about it. Yeah. Hulu made a show for the Wu-Tang Clan. Like, it's still relevant. And as far as hip hop goes, it's music that has survived the test of time, and it's nowhere near perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, and like also too, a lot of times those little details that we worry about in the mix or whatever is stuff that most people wouldn't notice unless they mix themselves. And I guess there's something to be said with wanting to have something that you feel proud to show your peers, like people within your industry. Yeah. But I don't think that means that you have to have a mix that sounds like a top 20 mix. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you can still have great music and have what my school would call a creative mix.
Dude, so I kind of glazed over this question. I got sidetracked, but the fatigue. Do you feel fatigued or do you feel motivated?
I feel both, man, but very much. I've definitely felt it in my body, and it's funny that you said like, yeah, since graduation, like that was kind of like a weekend that, and I mean, I've been busy, but at school I was really locked into a schedule. It was like wake up, do my morning routine, take the train into Boston, into the city, do my classes, whatever. Like I had my kind of routine. Yeah. I know on the weekends I go out with my friends, go to a show, whatever. And dude, then graduation hit, and it just kind of, this weightlessness has hit me where it's like there's no structure. It's just like I do what I want with my time, which has been beautiful, but also it's been weird because I'm definitely that type of person that always feels like I have to be doing something. So I'm trying to fill the time, trying to travel. Like I went like back and forth to New York twice this week on the bus. Yeah. And then like flew home, and I'm tired, but like I'm so happy, you know, because
traveling will take it out of you.
Yeah, but I love to stay moving, and I love to be coming home so much, and so I'm definitely fatigued, but I don't know, I'm also like more inspired than ever and feel more empowered than ever, and I just want to do the thing.
There's a lot of graduates who will say after they graduate they feel like a sadness because the actual fulfillment is having a goal, not reaching the goal, just having it. And when they reach the goal and they don't have one after, they feel kind of sad. And I don't want to use the word empty, that's a strong word, but they do feel something. But like with you having your music goals past graduation, like do you feel a sadness, or is it a heavy sadness, or just like a kind of like that was a good time at school, or like how do you feel about graduating?
There's a ton of mixed emotions. I mean, for sure, I'm so happy that I spent the 3 years that I did at Berklee, made so many friends. I'm sad to leave my friends. I'm sad to leave Boston. Yeah. You know, even just like my first year, when I finished my first year at Berklee, because I was in a dorm. And that was the first time I had ever experienced dorm housing in the context of actually being in college. I'd stayed like in the summers or whatever, I'd stayed at like a summer camp in like a dorm room or whatever. But like that was the first time I lived in a dorm for college, and that was an experience that I really appreciated so much, just being around so many people, you know. I don't know, I feel like at that time I was like dealing with some loneliness too, and just having a roommate, having my friends right there with me, always people in the dorm to hang out with, was a beautiful thing, and an experience that I don't know I'll ever be able to have again, like in that capacity, you know.
Especially with like-minded musicians being around you.
All musicians, all producers, all songwriters, all like, you know, just really creative people living in this one building in these little tiny ass dorms, which also too just have like their own aesthetic, their own like magic to them. Being, you know, I was on Commonwealth Avenue in Boston in this little like old hotel that was built in like the 1800s, and is now a dorm for Berklee. So it's like the history of it, you know, like being in that building, and all the musicians who, you know, Berklee's been around for like I don't even know how many years, and all the people who are there every semester. Like it was just an energy there that was really cool, and it's something I'm sad to leave, but also, you know, the more I have like gone and traveled into New York, which is where I'm going in September. I'm going to live in New York. I've seen that like there's so much more for me to experience, you know. So I still feel like there's so many goals for me, and but yeah, it's like it's the whole thing of like it's all about the journey, not the destination, you know. Like I don't know, I definitely, when I reach milestones, there can be a certain low. It even happens on a smaller scale in shorter periods of time with just like shows. Yeah, a lot of times I'll look forward to shows. That's kind of like shows I'll because I really love, like, I really live on the stage. I thrive on the stage. And I use shows as markers in my head where I'm kind of like, you know, it's like I'm thinking about the next one. What am I going to do? Yeah. Even what am I going to say? What do I want to, like, give to these people? And it's like this thing that I look forward to. And then when I get there, man, I always have terrible lows after the shows. Always. Yeah, every time I play a show, I get, like, a pretty big low after. I'm very low energy. My mood is kind of, you know, down, but it's not like I'm like upset. I'm just quiet, and I think I give a lot when I perform. So it's just, you know,
you gotta stay aware of that.
But to answer your question, it happens in little bits like that with shows, and then with the big stuff like graduation was a huge one, and now I've been so busy and tired, and I'm sure, you know, there'll be more. Like I'll be getting married one day and be like, damn, this is, you know, the last time I'll get married, hopefully. Yeah. And I'll be like, this is the last time I'll get married, and I'll never do this again. But just trying to look forward to all the things I will do. So
what are like some of the top things you've gotten from school? Because I was on TikTok the other day, and there was this girl who went to some music school, I don't remember, but she said one of the biggest things that she got from school was how to make a career in music, not just being a better musician. So what were like some of the top things? You don't have to name the number one thing, but some of the top things that you got from school.
I would say number one, bro, honestly, is like the people, and I really mean that and in so many facets too, because it's not only just like the people that you get to meet one-on-one and develop a relationship with.
Yeah.
It's also the exposure to different cultures, man. Like I hear like 5-6 languages a day in Boston, you know, and that's so different from being in like Statesville per se.
1,000%.
And that I've fallen in love with that energy and felt very comfortable in that diversity. And I've learned so much, you know. I think most of us in the U.S. are pretty ignorant about the rest of the world,
sure.
as compared to the rest of the world being informed about the rest of the world. You know, I think we very much live in a bubble, and so just like meeting people from countries I didn't know existed. You know what I mean? And and meeting people from countries that I've heard about my whole life but could not point to on a map. If it were like to save my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that put things in perspective for me. And I was like, wow, I really come from a small town. I have a lot to learn. And just the types of people that I'd meet. There's so many people. Now I know people from all over the world, you know. Like I want to travel, just couch surf in Europe and stay with people that I met at school. And that has been the biggest eye-opener and one of the biggest inspirations to me being at that school.
Yeah, dude. It happens real easily. Like just being in Statesville all the time, your point of view can narrow so much to just Statesville, and you can do that on a bigger scale. Like being an American, we just think about America like we're so busy arguing amongst one another that we kind of forget about the rest of the world. We know there's, you know, the Ukraine and Russia. We know there's a Gaza going on, but like we don't know the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Whereas in other countries, like you just said, they kind of know more about the rest of the world.
Right.
Most other, I don't want to say most, a ton of other countries are bilingual.
Yeah.
Like just like the way that other countries approach other countries is so much different than us.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really a matter of respect and being the willingness and the want to be educated. You know what I mean? Open-minded, yeah. And also, that's by design, bro. I mean, there's a reason like why divide and conquer works. Like if you make people like fight amongst themselves and argue, then it's a lot easier to manipulate them. So I mean, and this has been forever, dude. And it sucks, but I mean, just being at school and being able to meet other people who really sit somewhere in the middle and just want to like make good music and bring people together, like that's been everything to me, and giving me the courage to feel like I can do that regardless of the fact that, you know, sometimes it feels scary, sometimes it feels intimidating, but like, I don't know, just watching other people being able to step into themselves so much has felt like it gave me the permission to do the same thing.
Whenever I listen to your music, that's the vibe I get too, of just willing to step into yourself and be open. And that reminds me, dude, like did you get this skill before school or after school? But the I don't want to say the wisdom, but the knowledge to, while making a song, you serve the song. There on all the songs, not just the new album, it's never about how good you are at guitar. All your songs are about making a good song. All right, that's the vibe. Like you can tell that the musicianship and the writing and all of it went into making a good song, not showing off guitar skills, because you could if you wanted to. You really could. In not that the guitar playing isn't good, but it's not just flexing the whole time. Whereas some musicians who, if they had that skill in their hands, they wouldn't. Like me, I would be very tempted to just flex. I really would. But your songs are about serving the song. Like where the fuck does that come from? Because it's, for me, that's a muscle to build up. It's not something that just comes naturally. Like, was that before school or after school?
I think that was before school, bro. I think that's been a pretty early thing. And I think it's just a product of, like, the reason that I started writing songs was because I thought they were pretty. And I found comfort in them, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, I really do write a lot of my songs. Like, I 100%, like, I would love for other people to consume my art, and I hope that they find some meaning in it. But at the end of the day, too, it's like I really feel like I, in a lot of ways, write for myself or to myself. And so, just like when I sit down to approach a song, like, there's a few times when I sit down and I'm like, okay, I just want to write a song now. But a lot of times it's because, like, I really just have something that I feel like I gotta say, you know, like I'm sad or I just want to express myself. And sitting down and trying to do it from that perspective, as opposed to like sitting down just to write a song, has served me well. And I don't know, I always, when I listen back to my tracks, I always just ask myself, like, you know, does this make me feel something? Like, does this move me in any type of way? And if it doesn't, then I won't like necessarily abandon the idea, but it just might not be the track that goes on the album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I especially with this album, like this album in particular too, I think more recently I have some more like produced stuff that I'm working on. I'm kind of trying to sit in both veins and play around with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with this album in particular, like this album, like the theme of it, patience, is really about me growing, taking my time, learning who I am, being comfortable with expressing myself. So it's been I don't know, and I don't mean to sound like I do it all the time, dude. There's definitely times when I feel that urge to try and like, I want to sound better, I need to be louder or whatever. Like when I'm, especially in a live context, like when I'm jamming with people, when I get in front of people, you know? I think that's another thing too, is like all these songs are like me at home alone in my room. I am very vulnerable. I'm like in my boxers, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm chilling. So it removes some of the pressure, I guess. Like I don't really think I ever sit down and write a song with the idea of releasing it in my head already. It's just like, this is the thing that I do. And then it's like, I have this thing, I'm gonna put it out into the world now. Yeah. Not like I'm gonna make this thing to put it out into the world.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Does a lot of your writing, does it start with a feeling or an event that happened, or I don't know, an idea that maybe didn't even happen? Like where, or does it vary? Like how does your writing process go?
I think a lot of my favorite songs, at least of mine, come from a place of just big emotions, like sadness and joy mainly. And it'll just be those times when I'm overwhelmed with emotion, and I don't really feel like I can do anything except like grab my guitar and sit in my bed and try and soothe myself. I think that's like another thing. Like, I sit down with my guitar and really try to soothe myself. I play chords that I feel, I don't know, represent the way that I feel at any given time. And then, I don't know, I'm just able to slip into that. And a lot of times a melody will come out of that, and it'll just be gibberish at first. And then I'll be thinking about whatever situation it is that I'm in, and maybe a line or a word will come to mind. And I'll sit there, bro. I'll sit on because it is very much like a meditation for me too. I'll sit with my guitar for like hours, bro, just to get like a few lines. Like, and usually after that, then the other lines will come faster. I know what I want to say. But when I'm initially coming up with that theme of the song, what's the core, what's the heart of the song, it's usually a long process of me sitting and laying with my emotions and I'll set my phone down somewhere, hit record, and just go and just like even talk to myself about how I'm feeling about whatever, and that will inspire lyrics. And Damn,
dude, that's cool. And also back to the flexing thing, I think when you're playing live, the flex is it's kind of necessary. Like you don't want to run a ton faster than the people that you're jamming with, but also at the same time, if the crowd is feeding you, you're kind of feeding the crowd. So like sometimes you do want to go off when you play live.
Yeah.
Because that's fun. And when I used to see you play at Red Buffalo all the time, that was my favorite shit. When you would turn your guitar up and like start playing with your pick and fucking really play with anger, kind of not actual anger, but really mean it when you're playing. Like that shit is fun to watch.
I think it's weird, bro, because it can depend on the crowd a lot too. There's like crowds that I call woo crowds.
Yeah.
And you know, it's the one where like someone will hit a riff and everybody goes woo.
Yeah.
Like what does that mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I get, don't get me wrong, bro. Like I always think that there should be mutual support between an audience and the artist. Like that's what it's about. It's about that relationship. It's about that connection, you being in together, occupying the same space and decorating that space in a common way with the music, right in front of each other live. Like it's a completely different thing than like putting on a record, right? But I think with the woo crowds, I find that it kind of like it kind of devalues a lot of the aspects of music that I really love, which are dynamic range. Like are like melody, you know, like, and when I say melody, I mean in the context of like not a lot of notes, but like the right notes at the right time. And also like being able to not say something at a certain time. Like space is a huge thing I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
Like I feel like whether that be in conversations like this one where I feel the need to talk all the time, or when I'm playing a solo where I feel like I have to fill every bar with a note. And then like I just realized like a lot of the players that I love, and this is not also too like, this is something that I've heard from a ton of professors as well. It's like that space is so important, you know, like sometimes you don't have to play. But I think what happens is in the crowd's eagerness to be supportive, whether it's the crowd's, it can be so many things. It can be the crowd's eagerness to be supportive. It can be the crowd being drunk and just wanting to be lit and get half of the time. One. It can be, so I think all of these things play into the reaction of the crowd. But the problem is that when you get like a woo crowd, that positive reinforcement of like playing fast and flashy,
it's too much.
It is feeding into the musician, and so then that's what they're gonna spit out, you know. So I think what the key is kind of being able to be conscious of that in the moment. Like think of that like as you're playing the solo, like before you play your first note, just like remembering and saying in your head, oh wait, let me play to the music, kind of like we were saying, and being able to like take space and to try and make your solo dynamic, regardless of, you know, and doing it in a way like to where you can come away from it and say, wow, I think that I played something beautiful, regardless of if everybody fucked with it or not. Because if you're in front of a woo crowd and you play that beautiful melodic solo, you might not get the reaction that you wanted. You know, and I think being able to distance yourself from that expectation of any kind of reaction, especially when playing in a live context, is huge, and something that I struggle with a lot, because I mean, it's human nature. Like I want people to like my music, you know, like when I play, I want them to think it sounds good. I want the crowd to be lit and be, you know, but it's hard sometimes, bro, you know. When you don't get that, it's like the worst feeling, you know.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I've never thought about that because I haven't performed live enough, but it makes total sense of the woo crowds, which a lot of times it is alcohol, or it's alcohol, or maybe being in a city where the music scene isn't, you know what I'm saying, like way up there. Like it could be multiple factors, but I've never thought about that. So wow, dude, how do you have methods of kind of winning a woo crowd over, or kind of bringing them to your level of like, hey, this song is going to start slow, the middle's going to be slow, and there's going to be a climax, and it's going to end chill. Like making a woo crowd appreciate that. Like
I haven't cracked the code.
You haven't cracked the code
yet? I don't know.
Interesting. I wonder if it's crackable.
Yeah.
Or if it's just not.
I think it is, but I mean, I don't know. I guess it would just be a matter of, like I said, like really being detached from the idea that you need to win that crowd over in the first place anyways, you know. Just being like, I'm gonna play this music like regardless, like not even having the goal in mind of like, this crowd, I want this crowd to like me. Yeah. So it's like, it's weird. And I think also too, it's another thing where it's like, no matter what you do, it doesn't matter what you play, does not matter what you play. And this is also another thing that I tell people about mixing and writing and whatever you play, whatever you make. If you make art, if you just do like physical labor, like if you just work every day, like clock in 9 to 5, like no matter what you do, some people will like the work that you do, and some people will have a problem with it.
Yeah.
And some people won't give a shit about it and will have absolutely no opinion. So make what you want, right? And do what you think sounds beautiful. And I think that's something I'm trying to embrace. I tried to embrace that with the album, and also trying to embrace that with playing in the live context, especially like because we were talking about New York, bro, and jazz. I love jazz so much, but dude, the straight ahead jazz community can be so fucking annoying and like cliquey and very judgmental.
Yeah, I can see that.
To a point where it really feels hard to learn, and it does feel hard to develop it does feel hard to develop those skills because I don't know, man. I don't know. It just if you're a sensitive person, bro, it can really get to you, man.
I internalize, dude. Every single thing in my life, I internalize it.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's weird.
Have you read Rick Rubin's book?
I have. I actually only like halfway through it.
A lot of his message is what you're saying, of just like you be as unique to yourself as possible and you make your art. Another thing he says, which I love, is it's not how commercially successful a song is. Making art and releasing it, period, is the success.
Yeah.
Which I fucking love that.
Yeah. And one of the biggest things I took away from that book too is the idea you were asking me about, like, am I burnt out and stuff. And he talks about the idea of like, it's not like you don't learn how to be creative. I think it's actually, there's a quote in like the front of the book. It's like, it's not about like learning how to be creative, but it's just about living a life where you cannot not be creative.
Yeah.
Because like you're trying new things, you're seeing new things, you're tasting new things, you're meeting new people, you're like, there's an input to the output, and like as long as that input's being fed, like the output will take care of itself. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of people are over here and like, oh, how do I make this thing?
Yeah.
But they forget to like, oh, let me go like be uncomfortable, let me go do some shit that like I've never done before, let me go like, you know, just go like get really worn out and tired and burnt out and try and take care of myself and see how much I can do and then come back. And so I think that's one of the biggest things I took away from that book, man. Which is a really great book. Shout out. The Creative Act.
The Creative Act. It's wonderful. Yeah. Have you read The War of Art?
I haven't.
Dude, it's about resistance. It's by this guy named Stephen Pressfield. He's an American. He was a Marine, but then a writer.
I feel like I'd love that book just from the title.
Dude, it's great. It's basically about what you just said. It's about for him it was writing. You show up every day and you practice your art every day. And if you practice every day, when the muse comes to you, you are ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it won't be there every day.
Yeah, exactly.
You won't feel like it every day. In fact, some days you'll have that little voice in your head that's, you've been working hard.
Yeah.
Take a break. You've been killing it. Just rest. You should rest. And you should rest sometimes, but you should be doing something. For him, it was sitting and writing every morning. He did it every morning. A lot of times it was dog shit. And sometimes the muse just came to him and he was ready. He was prepared. He was at his desk with his, whatever. And that's the whole point of the book, is you fight against the resistance, that little voice inside that wants you to just chill out and not really go for it.
Yeah, I think we all overthink too much. And I do the same thing too. And it's funny that you say that, because there's like a different context with my memory. Like sometimes like I overthink about my memory because like someone would ask me something and put me on the spot and I'll forget, or I'll be like literally like about to say something and I forget what I was about to say.
Yeah.
And I've learned that when I stop thinking at that moment and stop trying to remember what I was going to say or remember what I was going to do, or stop trying so hard to be in control of like what's happening in the moment and just keep going, it'll come back to me. Like I don't have to worry about it. And I think it's kind of the same thing there, where it's like, and the same thing that Rick Rubin says in his book, which is that the whole like creative energy is like moving and flowing all the time. It's like a river, like it never stops. And it's like you can just dip in and access that at any point that you want to, but it's not like it's not of you, it's not of you, you are, and I think this is another great quote that I love too, is like that there is power in you, but not of you. And I think the same thing with creativity. I don't think like creativity is ours. I think creativity is something that we tap into and that we open ourselves up to and are just like conduits for.
Yeah.
And so whenever we forget that there's like a source for all of this, and we think it comes from us, and we sit here and we're like, that's when like, that's when you forget what you're going to say. That's when like you forget the lyrics. That's when like you don't know what to play. That's when like, you don't know what to say in a conversation to somebody. Like, I think it's like when there's that disconnect and we get a little bit too concerned with ourselves. I don't know. It's just, I feel, and that's something I struggle with. Like I'm saying that, but it's like something that I try to try to manage every day and like try to be aware of and catch myself when I do that.
I've heard people say that about social anxiety too. Like a lot of social anxiety is going into a social setting and just thinking about yourself too much. Like, do I look weird? Are people, did I say that weird? Did I phrase that weird? Why did I say that? Do I look weird? Just thinking about yourself. But if you can stop, think about others. How are you? Or, oh, that's interesting. How did, like, just taking your inner focus and putting it out helps you relax. Just realizing people don't, it's not that people don't care about me. People do care and love me, but it's not all about me. It's about everyone in the setting, and not everyone is focused on me like I'm focused on me. So if I would chill with my, if I would chill my focus out and just focus on other people, I would feel more relaxed.
Dude, 100. I really agree with that, and I think it's so true that your truest self is you interacting with other people and being here and talking, and but whenever we like do this and get so in our own heads, and like it's like we're not even ourselves anymore, we're just this voice in our head, which is a lot of times just anxiety, concerned with like what happened in the past, what happened in the future, you know. So I think there's so much value in like in trying to let go of that and be a little bit extrospective and open up and not worry so much and not take ourselves so seriously too. I really been trying to do that lately, because like I love to dress up now, especially like, being going in back and forth to New York and in Boston, and I love like fashion. I love seeing people dress nice. Like it's cool. Like I really love seeing how people are creative with the clothes that they wear. And so like now I think about stuff that I wear a little bit more before I go out of the house. But every now and then like I'll really try to, you know, think about like, where am I going? Like, what am I doing? Like, do I need to look nice? Like I'm in clothes that feel comfortable to me. And I try to practice going out and being like, whatever, like, you know, trying to let go. And I think it's just like doing that a little bit at a time each day, but it's fucking hard, bro.
It's a practice. And that's why alcohol is so powerful, because it helps you do that instantly of just like a drink and a half. And it's like, what's up? Like you're able to just your inhibitions go away a little bit, and you're not so focused on yourself and so worried, and you relax and you socialize. But it's possible without the alcohol.
100%.
And people who are heavily into drinking maybe forget that. Even people who are sober don't realize it, and they stay like homebodies. But it is possible to just go out and be a normal person without feeling like anxious that everything's about you. It's tough though. It is hard. It's not easy. I'm saying it like it's easy, but it's not easy.
It's another one of those things about like remaining yourself, and I think like that is, I mean, and it's honestly, it seems obvious, like remaining yourself is the biggest way to stay happy. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that, not only because you're going to be treating yourself the way that you want to be treated, but because you are going to be not like curating like who you're surrounded with, but if you are like putting on airs to like blow smoke up people's ass or to like please people around you, then those people are going to stay around you, because obviously like you're making them feel good, you're feeding their ego. But the moment when you decide to just like be yourself and you know, and I don't even say like be unapologetic, like I think there's a lot to be said about being courteous, being kind. I think that's very important. But being yourself and being willing, being okay with people not liking you or understanding you, because it's the same way with like my music. I'm like I said, where like some people like it and some people won't. I really find power. I think that I'm going to be much happier for making the kind of art that I want and letting the audience that loves the stuff that I really want to make come to me slowly, as opposed to trying to make stuff to fit into like a large audience that already exists. And I think it will take more time, but I think I'll be happier in the end, because there'll be people who have been there since the beginning because of the art that I was making in my truest form. And I won't have to worry about changing myself or maintaining some sort of image to create art that is still myself, because I will have been doing that from the start.
The art you make when you're being fully true to yourself, well, the crowd will take longer to build, but that crowd will be strong as shit. It'll be very strong. Whereas if you're making art to please what people's likes already are, you might gain those people as a crowd, but they'll flip on you.
Yeah.
Real hard. The one very second you do something that's different, they'll turn on you.
Yeah, and that's like, I mean, that's the curse of like social media, the algorithm, just like
Comments.
the culture.
Anybody can comment.
Yeah, the culture of the way that like music is consumed now. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's hard, but I think it's still, I think it is still. I mean, there are many artists who I love who are making art that I think is really art that they 100% feel is their own, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's people that are doing it uninhibited.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, I don't think it's like it doesn't exist anymore. I just think that it's hard because
it's not on the radio as much.
Yeah, if you want the commercial success and like everybody's trying to sell you that, you know, everybody's trying to tell you like that's what you want.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think that's definitely not always the case, but yeah, sometimes I'm like, I want to make a lot of money, you know. I want to tour. I want to tour the world. I want to play with all my heroes. I want to, but it's like, how can I do that and remain myself along the way, and let the whole process soften me too? That's another thing. I think a lot of people are like, yeah, like, don't worry about it. Like, when I talk about all the egos in New York and stuff and how it affects me, you know, like, a lot of people will be like, you know, we'll just like fuck them and, you know, like, show them what's up. And it's like, I don't really think that's where I don't really think that's going to lead to any more happiness for me. I think the only thing that's going to help me is to let the situation soften me and try to find understanding, find common ground with people, even those people with the really big egos, who would want to like put me down and like try and make me feel shit about my art or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, try to find common ground with them and trying to practice navigating situations like that, because those will always come up in my life regardless of what I do. So I would much rather be able to pass through those moments with some sense of peace as opposed to jealousy or anger or any response like that, because I think that's just really hurting myself.
Yeah. And, you know, to your point earlier, I think it's very possible to stay true to your art and become successful. Like, some of my favorite artists, like that new Kali Uchis album, it's partly about her mom dying and partly about having a new baby boy, a new son. It is very true to her and very successful. Same with Tyler, the Creator, dude. He's like, his newest album is very just like honest, very successful, but neither of those artists are Sabrina Carpenter or Taylor Swift, but they're still very successful.
Right.
But also, to your point of softening, my favorite line on the album is "Strengthen your body, soften your heart." That was my favorite song on the album.
Thank you.
For sure.
That was one that I wrote too when I was like just feeling some huge emotions. I was watching The Queen's Gambit. Do you know that show?
Dude.
Dude, that's crazy. Show the camera. He's got the book like right here. But
I love the show. That's why I started the book.
I was watching that show, and a lot of the harmonies in there were inspiring the song, you know, like that minor kind of feel, almost like classical harmony type vibes. And
the chord progression with the lyrics is wonderful, dude. It's so fucking good.
And so I was just sitting there kind of strumming along to that show and started singing, and I was really singing to myself, you know, like strengthen your body, soften your heart, you know, just trying to find some peace, find some strength. And I mean, shit gets hard sometimes. Like, I really live a great life. I've been so blessed. I've always had more than I need.
Yeah.
I've had, you know, my mom has always provided for me. My dad has always provided for me. Like, I've never gone without. But, you know, definitely I guess as much inner work as I've tried to do and dig into my own empathy and like trying to be able to sympathize with the rest of the world and get to know people and really step into people's shoes, like there's a lot of sadness I feel like that comes with that.
Yeah.
Just trying to open myself up and also a lot of anxiety that comes with being as vulnerable as I try to be.
Yeah.
And those are things that I have to deal with sometimes because that'll creep up on me. And, you know, some nights I'm in my bed and I'm freaking out and I'm like, oh my God, like, how am I going to live a peaceful life that feels comfortable and safe, where I'm able to have a family and I'm able to go out and do what I want to do and also speak up for the world and speak up for this country too, which is suffering so badly right now, and be able to do that in a way, like I said, where I can like stay safe and stay sane, keep my inner peace. I just feel some nights, bro, I just lay in bed and I'm like, this shit's impossible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do the kind of, the sort of like, what's the word? Oh my God, I forgot. Like the word for activism. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do the type of activism that I want to do without feeling, I'm just such an anxious person, you know? And I don't know how I'm going to be able to like get out there and go do this and that and speak my mind. But then, bro, that's where always the music comes in, because then I grab my guitar and then I tell myself, you know, strengthen your body, soften your heart, you know, like get ready, like prepare, because like this shit is real. Like I'm here and like I was put here for a reason, and I love art. I love music. I love love. I think that the world needs to heal. And like, honestly, I've just arrived at a point where I'm really feeling empowered to do that and say the things I want to say and like support the people I want to support and be the person that I want to be regardless of the consequences. And that's a scary feeling. Yeah. But also it is a really, really, really empowering one and a freeing one. And also too, the more knowledge I've been able to collect, I've been able to see that this has been happening forever, bro. Music has always been political. Music has always been a way of empowerment. Music has, you know, like I watch like people who came through like the civil rights movement and the music that they were making, or even people who aren't musicians, like just reading the autobiography like Frederick Douglass and what he went through. Yeah. And like just even shit that people are going through right now in this world. Thinking about that gives me a lot of power, and I love the history of Black people in this country, and seeing the people who have stood up time and time again. Martin Luther King, like all the big ones, people have put their life on the line to like make the world a better place. I've seen that they were able to do it, and that gives me some sort of confidence that maybe I'll be able to do the same, you know. And I really hope that I can. But yeah, it feels weird sometimes, and sometimes I'm not sure if I have the courage, but usually in those moments I'm able to go to music, and music gives me that courage. So
the way that I approach it is I think that being the best version of yourself is the best way to make a better world, because maybe you inspire one or maybe even two other people to be the best selves that they can be. And by be your best self, I mean like make your bed, brush your teeth, be nice to your neighbors, like just be a good person to the people around you. Because I think a lot of the activism stuff, like marching is powerful, but I think a lot of us are avoiding making ourselves better and just pointing to others of why like our nation is in such terrible state, or the world is in such terrible state. But I think if we all focus on making ourselves better, naturally it'll just ripple effect, and everything as a whole will become better. And I think for you, if you're doing that, then it'll come through your music, and music can transcend time. Like you could go on a march tomorrow, or you can make an album that lasts for the rest of, you know, ever, for as long as computers are around and CDs and stuff. And I think that stuff can be so impactful. I think music can be so impactful. Marching can as well. And Instagram, if you have followers, and Instagram posts can be powerful as well. But music, just, it transcends all of it. It transcends language. It transcends, it's just, to me, the best way to go about that.
Well, and also too, because I think there's so many fear-based reactions right now, and the fucked up part too is that the world has really told us that fear-based reactions are the way that we're supposed to react. And for me, like fear and hate are pretty synonymous. They're the same thing. And I think that the world is always saying like, somebody does you wrong, like fuck them. If you know, you don't agree with somebody, fuck them, whatever, you know. Like
we're real quick to cut people off.
It's just such a, it's so sick to me that it's like the thing now. Like people will say like, yeah, like you have to like protect your energy, like da 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 da. I get that, but I think there's so much to be said for being vulnerable, and I found power in vulnerability.
Yeah.
And that's where that song comes from. Strengthen your body, soften your heart. Because I don't think that people who take advantage of people, I don't think that people who exploit people, I don't think people who intimidate people are powerful.
Yeah.
I think that they're scared.
They're probably the weakest amongst
They're
us.
probably the weakest amongst us. And not to say that I am not susceptible to those feelings. Have I ever been
We're
mean
human
to
beings.
Have I ever been mean to somebody? Yes, I've been mean to people. Have I ever intimidated somebody? Probably. Because I was trying to protect my own ego.
I've been mean to people that love me.
Right. Exactly. And that's sometimes it's the easiest to be mean to people that you love.
Yeah.
And like trying to really exercise that vulnerability. And like I was posting this shit the other day. I was like, I think ideally in an ideal world, I think that love is always the answer. Like to apply love to any situation is always the answer, regardless of the situation. Like I don't care how bad it is. I don't care how terrible it is. I think in an ideal world, like we're always supposed to meet it with love. Now I understand that in the context of current day, or not even just current day, but just the reality that we live in, this physical reality, I get it. Like there's some fucked up situations where like you can't always just be like, oh, let me like, oh, sunshine and rainbows and like make friends with this person. I get that. But I just think that there's also a vicious cycle that happens when fear is met with fear, hate is met with hate, and it always leads to more hate and more fear
Every time.
So it's really a question of who is willing to sacrifice, who is willing to be vulnerable and to apply love even when the world is telling them that they're supposed to react with fear and hate. And that is like one of the biggest things that I hope I can hold on to, bro. It's just like, and one of the things I have to remind myself about every day, it's really a reminder. Like I wake up, I open my eyes, and I always tell people to like, I'll wake up in the morning and I'll open my eyes and I'll go and like start doing stuff. And like I'll like brush my teeth, and then I'll wake up.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a waking of my body, and then there's a waking of my consciousness.
That's wild.
And in that waking of my consciousness in the morning is usually when I remind myself of these things, because it's something I literally have to remind myself every day. Like I can forget these things.
Yeah.
When I'm having that fear-based reaction, when I'm in New York at a jam and somebody's vibing me, and I feel offended, maybe even intimidated, maybe even scared, maybe even threatened.
Yeah.
What do I do? Like, and I have to catch myself in that moment, because it's so easy to forget when you're scared.
Yeah.
It's so easy to forget when you're scared. And now...
when you hit that fight or flight.
Exactly, bro. And so it's like, I think it's just, for me, real exercise, real like strengthening of my soul and my spirit and is practicing vulnerability.
Yeah.
And practicing vulnerability in times when it could be at my detriment, possibly, but being able to have trust and faith in God. Honestly, I just like, I put my faith there, and I try to just move on and let God take care of the rest. So
yeah, when you have that situation where somebody's vibing you or being weird, like just to be able to be like, they're going through something, or they're scared, or they're anxious and they're just dealing with it in this type of way. And being able for me to see myself in that person, whatever that situation might be, helps a lot, of being like, I've been there. I'm going to try and be nice to this person. I'm going to try and treat them with love. And I'm just trying to remember that I've been there, because like you were saying, dude, love is the most powerful. Hate is more immediate. Exactly. Fear is more immediate, but love is ultimately the most powerful. And I think like the very like purest essence of Christianity is that if you've ever been through like a challenging psychedelic trip, that's kind of for me what the resolution you come to, of like, I'm tripping too hard, I'm a bad person, I'm this or that, and then, oh wait, no, I'm not. Like everything's about love. I should love myself, I should forgive myself, I should forgive others, I should love others. And love kind of helps me get out of that. And same with Christianity. I think it's weird now, but I think the truest essence of it is love. I think love is all powerful. Yeah,
and I really love the idea of love being the only thing that really exists, and hate and fear being an illusion. Mm-hmm. Because it's kind of like I've like right now in my life, I'm really trying to practice, like I said, my vulnerability, showing love, like having patience, because I know I know in my heart that there's something waiting for me after this lifetime. And I think fear and hate are an illusion, and I think there are things that are inextricably tied to this physical lifetime. And like, because for instance, like money, sex, drugs, pleasure, like those things are things that are here and are temporary. And in the same way, I think that hate and fear, like you said, are those immediate you want something, okay, you can scare somebody into giving you something. You can bully somebody into giving you something. Are you afraid? What are you afraid of? Because most of the time it's something that's happening in the future, or it hasn't even happened yet, or you're afraid of losing something physical, or losing your life. But what does that mean? Like losing your life, that means, okay, dying. What does that mean? Okay, losing your physical body. But I think that there's more beyond that. So I think once this physicality like ends, like what is left? I don't think it's going to be hate. I don't think it's going to be fear, like, because there's nothing to tie it to, there's not that. I just think that love will be the only thing that exists after that. And it'll be a matter of building that love within yourself, that power, that strength to be able to move into whatever it is we have to do next, And I think, not to say that I don't think after this lifetime there's going to be more, whatever they say, trials and tribulations or whatever. Like, I think there will be more stuff that we have to deal with. And I think this lifetime is simply a opportunity to strengthen ourselves as much as we can before we have to do that.
Yeah, dude. So with that being said, do you think people reincarnate when they don't get it right?
I don't know. Dude, I have no clue.
Me either, but it's a fun thought for me to go down of just like our soul. Yeah, it's warming up. Our souls are in this very physical world journey to where you have the things that can weigh you down to your lower self. Money, sex, getting fucked up, anger, hate, the lust for power, like all these things that can keep you in touch with your lower self. But the goal being getting in touch with your higher self and figuring that out, and love is probably the best way to get there. At least a strong tool to get to it. And maybe the people who don't figure it out just die and come back in another body. Maybe.
I don't know, man. I'm telling you, bro, I have some friends in my life who I'm like, these people have lived like a few lives.
Yeah.
Or even like I've known them in another life. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, that's the feeling too.
Yeah. And it's so, I don't know, man. I don't know.
So this line, dude, it's also a line that I loved. Fran, are you hurting? Troubled and blue. Has your religion cheated on you? Where does that even come from? It's so, and the way that blue lands on the perfect chord. What is it? Troubled and blue. The way blue lands right in the chord progression. Like where? That's like it's my favorite song on the album.
Thank you, bro.
Where's that come from, dude?
I think really for me trying to, like I said, make this song that I really wanted for people to find peace in and love and understanding in. And thinking about a lot of my friends, because I am a religious guy. Like I was raised here in North Carolina. I was raised Southern Baptist. My church was actually kicked out of the Southern Baptist Convention because of their progressive views and their openness and acceptance.
Interesting.
So I'm really lucky, first of all. Huge shout out to my church family. I'm so lucky and grateful to have grown up in a place where I was taught these things from a young age. Like these ideas of unconditional love and acceptance have been things that have been taught to me since I was very little. And that's something I'm extremely grateful for.
Is that the same church that you've used as an album cover? I don't remember what single it was.
No, that's actually, so that album cover is a church in Statesville, but it's actually like years and years and years and years ago. I met a girl. Actually, so it's one of my exes and this one who's One More Night with You is about.
Yeah.
Like I could go on forever about her, but anyways,
yeah.
That's the place where I saw her first.
Yeah.
I was taking vocal lessons from this local teacher in town, Melody Beatty. I don't know if you ever heard of her. She's super sweet. I was taking vocal lessons from her. I was singing like classical like like I was singing like proper vocal tunes. And I had a recital at that church. And that's where I saw this girl for the first time. And she was sitting to my left. Yeah. So when I did One More Night With You for the album cover, I went to the church. I stood up in like the center where I was singing, and I turned to the left just to kind of like signal like, that's kind of like the first time I laid eyes on her, you know? That's awesome. And this is like my muse, you know? So like, but anyways, yeah, sorry, not the first time I saw her, but like that's when I saw her and like decided to talk to her. And we, you know, because we went to middle school together, but I hadn't seen her in a while. Then I saw her there and we started dating. But anyways, with the song "Strengthen Your Body," that line, it was definitely because like I am a religious guy, and it's always interesting for me navigating my traditional, not even traditional, because I have very progressive views on Christianity. But even have any views on, even to subscribe to any views on Christianity can be a challenge sometimes, because I live now, especially now, having been opened up in Boston, I live in a very, very progressive place. And I see so many people who have been really hurt by the church. Yeah. Because I think organized religion can be very, very, very hurtful. And I think in a lot of cases it has been used as a tactic for intimidation, power, money, greed.
That's why I said it's gotten weird now.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it's not just now, bro. I mean, you go back to like Martin Luther when it was even crazier.
People still fight over religion.
Yeah. Not me about to say thousands of years ago, but many hundreds of years ago. It was like I'm sure even thousands of years ago religion was being used to persecute people. I mean, the Bible, bro. I mean, come on, dude. Like dude, like so I think organized religion has just done so much bad in this world. And I think that a lot of times the church is very willing to erase that history and forget about that. And it's very recent history too. I mean, even just the way that the LGBTQ community is being treated by the church right now, and our country also, a lot of the legislation that's being passed is ridiculous. And it's like not just that community, but like so many people have just been, even to the point of like sexual misconduct, like so much of that has happened within the church. Yeah. And so that line, "Has your religion cheated on you?" is just kind of me trying to recognize all those people, all those friends in my life who like, because I have so much faith in God. Yeah. Like I love God so much. My relationship with God has been so strong and has brought me so much joy and peace. But it's so hard because like I want to pass this on to my friends, because whenever I find something good, I always want to give it to my friends, you know? Yeah. I'm always like, I want them to also like get value out of this. But when it comes to religion, it can be really hard because I have a lot of friends who have really been hurt by religion. Yeah. And I completely sympathize with their position, you know, and I understand why they would be hesitant to want to trust in a God that to them has only like, you know, not only led them to hurt and pain. You know, I'm sure that they've had like beautiful experiences in their life too, but you know, like they have very bad memories of the church, very bad experiences with the church. Terrible things might have happened to them in a church, you know? Yeah. So it was just more or less me trying to recognize those people and, you know, just kind of like show them some love and be like, yeah, just like, I think just see them, honestly.
There's a lot of people who I talk to about Christianity who are really against it. And a lot of it is being surrounded by hypocrisy in the church they grew up in. But also a lot of it is like them being like, especially younger teenagers, and really going through difficult stuff in their lives, and their parents and grandparents and the people who they trust and love the most just being like, pray about it, we're going to pray about it, just pray about it. Yeah. Where like they're not actually getting help. Like you should pray about it, but also there's sometimes kids that just need help, and a lot of those kids get a bad taste in their mouth because of that experience of just like they're really going through something and they need help, but they're not getting the help they need.
Yeah, and I also really disagree with the idea of God as someone who punishes or smites people and shit, or like
I think that's God part of the control thing.
Yeah, it is part of the control thing. It's like intimidation, bro. It's like, let's make these, and it's been a control thing for a long time. But I just really don't subscribe to that idea. I think God is pure love. I also personally, and I don't try to push this on people, but I just personally don't believe that God is like a man or a woman or anything. I think God is just God. Like,
it's too
God
infinite to be one thing.
Yeah, and I think so many.
It's everything.
Yeah, and I think so many religions point to the same thing. I just decide to call that God because of the way that I was brought up, and that's the way that I'm able to realize that that all-encompassing energy, that all-encompassing love, everything that is and ever was. I call that God. Yeah, and other people call that different things. And yeah, but that was basically the idea for that line. Just trying to like see all those people who I love, who I know have had a really bad experience with religion.
That's amazing. I just love the lyric. So when I listen to music, lyrics are tough for me to grasp. Like I really have to put a lot of effort into catching lyrics. I remember melody. I remember drum grooves. Those are probably my two favorite things within a song. But like actual what words are being said is hard for me, especially if the cadence is a certain way.
Yeah,
it's hard for me to grasp. Like it's hard for me. I have to really put effort into hearing them. But this song and the cadence is such that it was easy to hear the lyrics. But the lyrics in the song really stood out to me.
Thank you, man.
I love it a lot. What was I about to say about damn religion? Whenever I'm talking to someone who is anti-religion and I want to talk about higher power, I will just say the universe instead of God. And it goes over just fine. Yeah. Because to me, those things are the same thing. I'm right there with you where I think God is everything that is, everything that has been, everything that will be, in us, out of us, through us. I think God is everything. And I think that God loves us so unconditionally that if you think I have the worst luck, you're going to have the worst luck. If you think, oh, I can learn this, you will learn this. Like what you put out to the universe, God will give back. Just like God will give you what you want in a sense. I mean, might not give you a yacht or whatever, right, or a Rolex, but maybe
might.
But yeah, I think what you put out, you get back because God will just provide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, and it is hard because like when you try to open up, and sort of dive in to your own religion and really ask yourself, who is God to you? You know? Because I think at the end of the day, religion is a very personal thing. And I think that's why so many problems arise when it is commercialized, basically, which is what has happened, you know? And I think that it just takes time. I think it takes time to sit with yourself and figure it out and also navigate those feelings of, like you said, like it is intimidation. It is like when you really try to sit down and understand your religion and what it is that you truly believe, there's like a terrible fear that if you stray away from the ideals and the concepts that were taught to you in whatever given church you were brought up in, or whatever the Bible says verbatim, then you'll be damned to hell, or you know, whatever.
That's why nations fight over it.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, it's really trying to like mitigate that, and for me, it's been a matter of developing my personal relationship with God, praying, asking God to help guide me through some of these hard questions.
Yeah.
And really feeling like I've seen results, I've been happy, man. Like my life has been full of joy. I've been able to meet people who I love. I've always had what I needed,
Yeah.
And just that is enough for me to have that faith and to want to continue to do the same thing and just like dive in and really try to get to know God on a personal level. And everything that I've seen of God so far has been completely love and complete understanding, and like that sort of, like I was saying, like applying love in situations that are hard. And every time that I have had the courage to do that, it's been a great thing for me,
Oh yeah. There's also a word I think it's the word Jerusalem. It could be wrong though, but it translates to those who wrestle with God. So like when you're close to God, I feel like it's healthy to question God or question your religion, or just ask like what is what. And this line I feel like nails that perfectly.
Thank you.
What's your favorite song on the album? Do you have one?
I don't know, man. It's a hard one.
They're all your babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I love Someday We All Will Be Free. I love that song. It's like, and it's one that it's already out too, but it will be on the album. But it's just like, it's a very honest song, and it kind of talks about a lot of stuff that we talked about. You know, it's like I do a rap at the end, and it just talks about, you know, me trying to deal with the things that I really struggle with, because there are things that I struggle with, and trying to be honest about those and be vulnerable, because I know other people go through the same shit, and also really try with that song to empower people and give people some of that like extra push, like, yeah, we can fucking do this, like, you know, do what you believe in. And you know, I don't know, I just love that song. I think it's really honest. I think it's really straightforward and kind of encapsulates the spirit of the whole album.
Did rapping feel weird, or did it feel out of your comfort zone? How was that on the album? Because you rap, twice on the album?
Yeah.
3 times? Twice?
I think twice, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's been so much fun.
It's very cool. It doesn't feel weird. It feels very natural.
Thank you. I did like a lot of I definitely am very inspired by Kendrick Lamar and his rapping, specifically the not only the content of what he says, but also the production of his rapping, and the way he stacks his vocals. So like a lot of my, like, actually, I mean, all the raps that I have right now are very much like, it's like 4 vocals. It's like 4, I rap it like 4 times, pan all of them left and right. I'll even more than that, actually. Then I'll have another 2 takes, pan left and right. And on like on Patience, I put one down like an octave, so it's like really low, and then I do like do some ones that are like really high, or like I'll take one and distort it so it's just like, you know, but that's on the side, and then I have the one in the middle, so it's like all these stacks that really make this like big wall of sound thing when I rap, because I don't, like, for me right now, I don't think my rapping voice is at a point where I wouldn't feel confident just like my raw voice just being like just like one voice in the middle.
It's so hard. So I've tried to rap. I have songs that maybe one person has heard of me rapping, and I just do not like it. So
I definitely do. I rap it like multiple times. I'll do multiple takes and pan them and do stacks. Yeah, I just think it gives it a fuller sound, and it makes it sound a little bit more believable to me.
Hell yeah. Yeah. The drums on Someday We Will All Be Free, was that sampled drums? Like, where those drums come from?
I think all the drums are loop, except for one track called Hard to Find Home, and that is my boy Trey Tarzia from Concord. Shout out Trey.
Wow. I thought like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 songs were samples or loops. I thought a few of them sounded live. I buy like some good drum packs, like, you know, like I find drum packs on Instagram and stuff. So like I like to find different sounds. Some of those guys put out, I've never bought any, but some of those guys put out really nice little drum loops.
Oh yeah, and I love, because some tracks are loops that are just loops that I loop the drums. Others are samples, like one shots that I've taken onto a beat pad and I play, you know, on the beat pad. Yeah. But yeah, and then the one track is live drums, and drums is somewhere I'd love to experiment more and really like, because I really love rhythm, and I think I have a good sense of rhythm, and I want to learn how to play drums properly so I can like record some of my own stuff. And but yeah.
Have you been recording bass for this album?
I did, yeah. I played bass on every song except one.
Because some of these, I tried to write down a couple things for each song, but one thing that kept popping into my mind was the motherfucking bass and for Falling Apart, bass and drum groove. For a couple of them, I write down for Homes Changed, feel to it is incredible. Like these grooves that, like I said earlier, drum grooves, but the bass is part of that. These fucking grooves that are wonderful, dude. They're so nice.
Thank you, man.
They feel good to listen to.
Well, I mean, I love, like I said, I love rhythm. That's really, rhythm was one of my first interactions with music. Just being little and like banging on shit like drums.
Yeah.
I loved it. That's like all I really want to. I would say when I was a little kid, I definitely could have seen myself being a drummer. I had a little drum kit. I would always like I had a little tom, and I'll put like a shoelace on it and put it like over my neck and like hold it like a.
Hell yeah,
like
dude.
Just walk around the house and drum.
That's fire.
I love rhythm and yeah, I just also love bass, man. Bass is such a powerful instrument. Bass is one of the instruments where you could take like, and you could do this with other instruments too, but I just don't think it's as noticeable as with the bass.
Yeah.
You can take a track and like have one bass line and then take it off and completely recontextualize it by changing up the bass.
Yeah, dude.
You could take it to a different place and it'll feel different. You could even give it a different color just with the choosing a different bass note.
Yeah.
And that I find really powerful, and I love the practice of locking into a groove, especially in the context of bass, being able to sit and I don't know, there's something almost spiritual for me about recording a tune, especially like when I finally get to track bass.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this feeling that I slip into when I'm really trying to lock in with the drum groove that feels like nothing else. It's just especially when I'm on the bass, it just feels right, and it feels like something I'm supposed to be doing, and it feels very fulfilling when I'm done and I get to listen back and feel like I was in the pocket, you know?
Yeah.
I think I'm just I pay a lot of attention to rhythm. Yeah.
I've gotten very in my head about bass technique. Do I just like being so in my head about, I need to play like this, playing with a pick? I feel like I'm not doing it service. But I've seen a video, it's an old video, I don't even know if you do this every time you play bass, but you were playing very comfortably with your thumb and your pointer, and it sounded awesome, and I was like, that's it. I should just, when I'm making a track, I should just play how it's comfortable. If I don't want to use a pick, but don't be so anal about having to look cool playing like this, which is what I was doing. Yeah,
because I mean, that's like the proper bass technique or whatever.
Yeah.
But dude, hella people play with their thumb. One of my favorite bass players of all time, Pino Palladino, he's a thumb guy. He uses his thumb a lot. Favorite bass player I've ever heard in my life. He's my favorite. But yeah, I love also too, because with the two finger thing, so you're like, you're playing the bass this way, you can get on the strings, but there's a different thing that happens whenever I turn and use my thumb this way, and I'm able to use this part of my hand to mute the strings.
Yeah,
because then this part sits on the strings, so I get the boop as opposed to bang bang bang. It's a boop boop boop, you know. And I love that like muted, like punchy feel that I get out of it. And then I can open it up. I can take my hand off and get a ringing note out if I want, and then cut it off. And there's more like control that I'm able to have over the tone of the bass, you know.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about bass. I mean, honestly, guitar too, but guitar you don't see it as much because some people use pedals, so it's like easier to like rely on your pedals for tone. But like any instrument, but like I would say especially bass for me is like you can really control the sound of the instrument based on how you play it, how far down you go to the bridge, if you play it down here, if you play it here, if you mute it, you know, if you play it with your thumb, if you play it with the pick, even this hand, you can push the strings to, you know. One of the things I've learned about like in solo performance, I tune my acoustic guitar down to C, so it's like standard tuning, but the bottom note is C, so it's like really low. And even like getting to know my instrument to the point of like I know when my guitar is tuned that way, this hand is using a different amount of pressure on the strings, because the strings are so loose at that point that if I grab a chord,
you can go sharp. I
can go sharp if I push it, if I push down too hard. Yeah. So it's like learning those little, and that can be from instrument to instrument too. That's the cool thing. Like I know my guitars, you know, I know how they feel. I know like what kind of sounds I can get out of them, and that's just like I love I love the workshop woodshedding aspect of music, honing your craft, like whether that be with rhythm, tone, mixing, like that I'm so addicted to, bro. And it really itches the right place in my brain. Like my ADHD is just like, yes, this is like, I want to dig into all of this stuff.
That's something I've tried to incorporate into my guitar practice. I haven't been able to practice as much, but I've been messing around with some finger picking because there's so much nuance. Because before I was like, if I'm doing a lead, it's the heaviest distortion and I'm picking hard.
Yeah.
If it's clean, then it's clean and I'm picking hard.
Yeah.
And I just got bored of my own playing. Like I really got super bored of it. And then I watched someone like you, or I watched even like John Mayer's live playing, where there's so much, and Mateus Asado, he's one who I love, but there's so much range between finger picking, getting your pick out and playing soft with it, or playing hard with it. Like there's such a wide range within those options, and it's all right here in your hand.
Yeah,
there's no pedals; it's all here.
Exactly, and that's the dynamic thing that we were talking about.
And rolling your volume back too. Sorry to cut you off.
No, yeah.
But rolling your volume back too. There's so much tone within those options.
Yeah, doing the big swells. You know.
Yeah,
and
dude.
like the dynamic thing that we were talking about, it is true because it's like. I think that's a huge part of making let's talk about the context of improvisation. Like if you want to be better at improvising, it is definitely a dynamic thing. How do you build a solo? And, you know, a lot of my friends, great musicians up at school have been teaching me this. It's like, if you start a solo, right? Like for instance, like let's say I'm going to do a solo right now with my voice and I'm like, whatever. Okay. Dude, I started here.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go.
I have nowhere to go at all.
Yeah.
For instance, if I say, like that is dynamic. Like I'm saying something. It's not so monotone, and that has been a huge thing I've been trying to apply. And it's hard, bro. I still don't do it, bro. I really like. It's honestly kind of comical how rarely I feel like I'm able to actually successfully tap into that in a way that feels complete, and like I've had a solo that I feel like was developed, and it's not always about having a form that you have to follow, but you know, it's weird, man. Especially
when you're performing for the woo crowds.
Yeah, exactly, because then you're 3 times removed from that. You're already many layers behind that. You're thinking about, oh, there's a pretty girl. Oh, like, am I, you know, I want to sound awesome. So like, hopefully they'll book me again. Did I get enough people to come out? Yeah. Like who's in the crowd? Like, you know, or somebody, or like a person who I really wanted to come didn't show up.
Yeah.
Like you're just being a human through all of this. And one of the funny things too about playing live is that like playing live, and not so much now because I've done a lot of inner work, I think, and tried to like learn how to focus my attention more. But one thing that I still deal with sometimes and have dealt with a lot in the past is my head is running a million times a minute, like every time it's not supposed to, including when I'm on stage.
Yeah.
So when I'm on stage and like singing a song, sometimes I can literally get into autopilot and like I'm performing, but like I'm literally thinking about like some random shit. Like I'm thinking about like grocery list or like an assignment I have to do or like some place I need to go or like some random shit, you know, like it could be so weird, bro, to be in the moment, like trying to make music and your head is in a million different places.
To be present is tough in any situation. In podcasting, it can be hard to be present. Do you have like a mantra or anything that you use to mitigate that, or do you just deal with it in the moment?
I mean, there's like, you know, Ram Dass, like he has the whole like
dude.
Be here now, like that. Yeah. That's been a huge thing for me, you know, and I think it's gotten really popularized, and so people shit on it or whatever. But I think it's really an important concept. Like we were talking about, I think that anxiety, fear, it lives in the past and the future. It is always, not always, because there are people going through very terrible things right in this moment as we speak, and they're living them in this moment. But I think for most of us, fear and anxiety, all these things that are causing us pain are either shit that happened already and we're worried about it, or shit that we're worried about that might happen.
Yeah.
And so like trying to live in the moment, trying to breathe, and also when that comes to like my own mental health, you know, my mental health and like intrusive thoughts and like just being stuck in this like flesh, which is really imperfect. You know, we are just imperfect beings.
Oh yeah.
Like I've been reading this one book that's really cool, and it just talks about like in those moments when you're stressed out and your mind's telling you this and that or whatever, you know, when your mind just tries to be your worst enemy.
Yeah.
Is like being able to sit there and notice that you are observing these thoughts.
Yes, dude.
There is an observer. There is the thought saying these things, and then there is you in real time, the actual you who is actually here in this world, like interacting with people and shit, observing those thoughts.
Yeah.
And that is who you are. You are the silent observer who is sitting and is like taking in what's happening in real time. You are not the ideas and the voice in your head that's saying like, oh, you suck or whatever, or like, you know, like, and that trying to come to terms with that has been weird, also has been really empowering for me, and I think delivered me from a lot of stress.
Dude, it's wild you say that, because there's this meditation mantra that's been in my head for years of sit and meditate, and the mantra is, I am not the body, I'm not even the mind.
Right.
And my visualization for that is my brain being a thought machine, my thoughts being a swarm of gnats, and visualizing myself, instead of standing in the swarm of gnats, stepping back and looking at the swarm of gnats. Because like you were just saying, it's easy to think that I am my thoughts. My thoughts are me. These intrusive thoughts, I'm a terrible person.
Right.
No, that your brain is a thought machine. Your brain isn't you. Your brain is a machine that just makes thoughts all day. And if you can step back and observe your thoughts, grab the ones that are useful, it's a lot less mental stress.
Yeah.
You can relax a little bit and just be. Because it can really overwhelm you, because my brain goes too. I can lay down at night and my brain is just like, if I eat too many edibles, like I'm convinced I'm a terrible person, I'm whack, I'm lame.
Yeah.
But it's just like my brain going crazy.
Dude, and it's that thing of like remembering, because like I was saying with that idea of trying to notice yourself as the observer of these thoughts and not necessarily the creator of these thoughts.
Yeah.
It is something that you have to be conscious of. It's something that you have to know or think about.
Yeah.
And when I say that, it's like, and what I mean by that is like, I mean that in a very literal context, where it's like, I can say this in this podcast right now and somebody can be like, oh, hey, I'm going to start doing that. And they can completely forget. Yeah. And they will. There will be many, many times when they go and they're in a stressful situation and they're stressed out and they just give in to that fear reaction. Yeah. And so it really is a matter of like, how do we remember? How do we in those moments in the fire when like shit is hitting the fan, how do we remember these things that are important to us? Not just when it's like easy to remember them or convenient to remember them. When it's really hard to remember them and really hard to apply them is when they have to be applied and have to be remembered. So it's like, and that's the hardest thing. So it's just a constant, and that's one thing I found about life to be sometimes like saddening in a way, is I think there's beauty in the fact that you never reach the end and be like, oh, you know, like this is we made it, like I've achieved whatever. Like there's no real like climax. Yeah. I think there's power in that because you're always developing, always moving. But I find some sadness in that sometimes, because I do get physically exhausted and just kind of coming to terms with, I guess honestly though, I have to realize that this physical lifetime won't last forever, but sometimes it feels like it's going to last forever, and it feels like the tiredness will be something that I have to experience every day forever, and it will be something I think I'll have to deal with my whole life, but obviously like this physical lifetime is finite, you know what I mean? Yeah, dude. But like
very finite. But time also goes faster and faster the older you get.
Yeah, but sometimes that just like that stresses me out and makes me a little bit sad, because I'm like, damn, we're all really just subjected to this. Like, we just have to kind of push, go, like, but I think there's power in it too, you know? Yeah. And like I said, I've lived a really fortunate life, so I don't even think in retrospect, I don't think in like relation to the rest of the world, I don't think I've, you know, really been through a lot. Yeah. You know, whatever that means.
It's really tough to do, but if you can do it, it's useful. If you can turn that sadness of the finite into gratitude that like, oh, I get to experience this thing that just just the odds of being born, the odds of being the sperm that won are so incredibly low. The fact that it happened is incredible. And the fact that we're in the richest nation to ever exist is incredible. Even if we're in, the lower percentage of wealth in the country, even then it's a pretty good go of it. But that is another thing that's just so hard to remember because you get so caught up in the rat race of it all.
Yeah.
So it can become a lot because, you have ambition. I have some ambition. Like, you want more. It's just natural to want more. It's also what we are. Like, we're still, most of us is animal DNA, and we just want more. We want to.
Also, I would argue you have hella ambition. I don't think you have some ambition. I think you have a lot.
I do have ambition, but I look in the mirror a lot, and I'm like, I'm not accomplishing enough.
I mean, I don't think that ever ends. That's kind of the thing.
It never goes away.
But it's about remembering. It's about, that's the times for you when you gotta remember. That's the time when you gotta remember. Oh wait, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not that thought that's telling me that I'm less than or whatever. Like, and just trying to recognize yourself, see yourself where you're at, and be happy about the accomplishments the things that you've been able to experience so far.
It's tough. I've thought about doing a gratitude list every morning. I just haven't yet. But I've heard that it is a useful thing to do.
It's actually been
of just like, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for this is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome.
Dude, that's actually been, you were talking about trying to go to sleep, because that's also when my mind is like, I'm like, oh my God, like to the point where like, even like with music sometimes, bro, like not as much anymore, but there was this one point in my life where like I would repeat the same line of the same song. Not even like the whole chorus or whatever, like the same line, like da 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 da. And dude, that shit would be in my head. Oh my God, like I'll be trying to sleep. And all I can do is hear this line over and over with the production and stuff, and I can't quiet my mind, you know? And then my mind will be anxious thoughts, you suck, whatever. And actually for me, one of the helping me go to sleep has been the grateful thing, because I'll just sit and think about all the things I'm really happy for and already have and have been able to experience, and thank God. And I really think it is kind of like, I can't remember where I heard this, but it's not mine, but it's like, when you're busy being grateful, you can't be anxious. When you're busy being thankful, you can't be scared, you know? Like, so filling those, because like I think also too, that kind of speaks to the idea that we were talking about earlier, fear and all that stuff being an illusion, because I really think it is an illusion. It's a void, it's just a void. And when you fill that void with gratitude or, patience or love, like then that emptiness has a way of moving away slowly but surely, And
there's powerful forces in this realm that want you to feel fear and anxiety. Some would call it evil, some would call it Satan, whatever you might call it. But like we said earlier, love is much more powerful. It's just not immediate like those other things are.
Right. And I think, and like I always think too about like that overarching force of like whatever is like the negative force of the world. And I just know, like I've seen it. Like I've seen the hate and fear, and seen how how those are really the same thing. So it begs the question for me too. I think about that, like I was saying, that overarching force of evil or whatever, and I'm like, whatever that is must be scared too. Whatever that is must have, like you don't just inflict pain, you don't just inflict fear unless like you are running from something, and a lot of times that's yourself. I don't know, I just think about that sometimes. I'm just like, and so then I'm also like, okay, well, that's why those times when we kind of feel that force, when we kind of feel like, like temptation is a big thing. When you feel tempted to do something you shouldn't do, I think that's another time when you have to remember. And you have to remember that is also usually temptation. I think is a fear-based reaction too, because it's a fear. Temptation is usually you're tempted to do something to get something that you want. And usually that is a fear of like not having enough,
yeah.
or a fear of not being enough, and needing to make this thing happen, or needing to get this thing in order to be worthy.
It's wild too, because in a lot of people you'll see, and it not that I'm perfect, I see it in myself too, of just people who think people who give in to their wants and temptations, they see it as being free, as living free. But in my mind, the true freedom is not letting your temptations have power over you. Mm-hmm. And it's just an easier way to live. It's why drinking less is good for me personally, and not going crazy with the edibles is good for me personally, because I can really get off the rails with things that make me feel good.
Right.
Like things that pleasure is like a huge, we've talked about this before. It's a big thing for you too, but pleasure is like a huge thing for me. The more that I can like not fucking give into it, the more free that I feel, the more liberated that I feel.
Yeah. And also like, cause I think pleasure, like that, not that I think pleasure is intrinsically bad. I think pleasure is kind of a distorted version of like true happiness or contentness.
Yeah.
And I think it's true that whenever you are like searching, whenever you're searching, whenever you feel like you don't have enough, you lean into pleasure, because that's how you get that immediate like dopamine, whatever.
Yeah.
But when you do take the steps each day and kind of have the discipline, I think it brings more of that natural joy and more sustained joy. It's not highs, it's not lows.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle.
Because giving in, it can bring you to this type of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the long-term thing will kind of just keep you more in the middle and just steady.
And you have peaks and you have valleys too, just naturally,
yeah.
but like in the flow of life. But like, I definitely think I agree with that. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely the type to lean into pleasure. And I think that also comes with, I think a lot of people would agree that that's seen a lot within creatives, not just musical artists, but just creatives, people whose minds are always running, people who are always going and moving and looking, because we are in a lot of ways looking for more all the time. And so, if we aren't always able to find that through our art, it's really easy for us to turn to other things, sex, drugs, money, whatever. And not only like art too, but even like business types, I think that's a lot of what's happening with some of the most powerful men in the world right now, is that they really have to lean into the sort of gluttonous pleasure to feel that sort of high, because they're already so far gone. They've fucked so many people over and have really made an uncomfortable position for themselves where they don't feel safe. They don't feel content. They don't feel like they may not feel like anyone really truly loves them for who they are.
Yeah.
They may not feel like anybody truly sees them for all the facets of their personality, because I don't think any one person is like pure evil. I think everybody has sides to them, no matter who they are. Some of the most like powerful and like wicked men in the world today, I think, have facets to them. I think they have beautiful things about them too.
There's a lot of those quote unquote evil people who in their mind they're doing a service to humanity, and just fucking burning other people down to do it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's like a means to an end.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know, I think that is kind of like what we were talking about, not being able to regulate that pleasure response, needing more, not being able to be like, how could you have like billions and 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 billions of dollars and still feel that you need to exploit people to get more money?
Yeah, dude.
Like, have more money than you could ever spend in your lifetime.
Anyone could ever spend.
Be able to like retire like almost like, I don't know, like half the world instantly if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? And still feeling like you have to like shit on people to get your way, and to get like, that has to feel, talk about feeling worn out and feeling like you just don't get a break, and feeling like this shit is endless.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, bro.
Yeah, dude.
I can't imagine constantly having to watch your back and trying to trying to make sure that you have leverage over the people around you so that you can just exist safely in the world. Can't imagine that feeling.
Yeah. Well, people I guess they get addicted to the power or aspect or gaining more power is their game. Like I really don't know why they do it, but it's a wild time, brother.
It is, bro.
We just gotta keep making music.
Yes, sir.
Dude, so when I listened to these tracks, the way that Apple organized them was alphabetical order.
Oh, nice.
Do you have a track list? Like, is making your track list tough? Like deciding what songs go where?
At this point where it's sitting right now, which I guess the album will be out when this is released, but I haven't set the track order. I know a few. I know that Break Free will be at the beginning. Yeah. Break Free is a prayer to me. And it's just like, can I break free closer to the one? Can I break free closer to the one who will still my heart or something like that? Dude, I was like trying to speak these lyrics another time, like 6 months ago or something, and the same thing happened. Like I couldn't remember them. But it's like, can I break free closer to the one who can still my heart?
I don't know if you sent me Break Free.
Oh, did I not?
Hold on. Falling apart, for your love, hard to find, homes change, hometown blues, patience. Run away with me, someday we'll all be free. Strengthen your body. Strider's Lullaby, which I thought was awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Just want to know a song when I'm away from you. And then this morning about summertime. Yeah, I don't think I got Break Free.
Let me see. Oh yeah, and about summertime will be on. It's a single that I'm gonna release, but
nice.
But let me see. It's literally just this. It's literally just this loop of me being like, here, I'll show you. And that's the whole loop. Can I break free closer to the one I know will keep my heart still? And that's literally just a prayer to God for me. It's just a mantra. It's just can I keep my eyes on God? Can I keep my eye on the prize and move through this life? Let it soften me, not harden me. Do my thing, you know? And that's the start of the album. It's just that mantra. It's just that loop over and over and over and over and over. And that will definitely be the first track, and that's how I want to set up the album. And then there's a song called Borrowed Time, which I'm going to turn into a full band song. Right now I just have a demo of it, which is on the album, and that'll be the last track. And it's just like the lyrics are, lately I've been sleeping in, silver in my eyes, dreaming of a distant land, sorrows in disguise. And the chorus is it's like, I remember that my time is borrowed, these chords are too, there's so much pain in silence and so much love in the truth. And what I'm talking about is like, I feel sometimes like when I was sitting down to write the song, I felt like it sounded like every other song I had already written, chord wise.
Yeah.
And I felt like it just sounded like, another song. And I was like, well, does that mean that it's not worthy to be written? Does that mean that I shouldn't write it?
Yeah.
I mean, all of this is borrowed anyways. And that's where that comes from. Borrowed time. Like, my time is borrowed. The chords that I use for that song, those aren't my chords. Like, I put them together.
Yeah.
But, like, I did not create these.
Yeah.
And honestly, somebody probably has put them together in that order before as well.
Yeah. And
maybe not the same way that I did, but, like, it's all borrowed. The words are borrowed. Like, the language is borrowed. Like, this body is borrowed. Like, nothing is mine. And then the last line of that chorus is that there's so much pain in silence and so much love in the truth, because I think that it's always so much, it is so worth saying and speaking the truth, like living your truth. There's so much love in that, and there's so much pain in silence. There really is, like, to withhold and just not express yourself. And that's the theme of the song, is like, I didn't necessarily think that this song was worthy, but I see the power in believing in myself and believing in the power of being honest. And I was really honest through this song, and I know that it's worth speaking truth and that it's worth writing music, even if sometimes I feel like maybe it's not like the hit or whatever.
Yeah. And I feel that a lot, because to your point way earlier, these creative ideas, it's like they really don't start in here. It's like they come through your machine antenna, and it's either you can write it down and do something about it, or likely it's going to go away and leave.
Yeah.
So I think that's a beautiful concept. But I guess we'll end it, man. Do you have any closing statements? Do you have any words of wisdom or anything or that you want to tell the audience before we finish up?
I don't know. I hope that everybody got something out of this. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and hope you will walk through and hopefully let this world soften you, not harden you. Be a good person, make friends, try to see eye to eye with people that you disagree with, and speak up even if you think it sounds stupid. Like I feel like I sound corny right now. Like I'm in my head about that shit, and this is something I deal with, like all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't really give a fuck. I think that love is the most important thing in this world, and I'm willing to sit here and say that, and I really hope that I'm able to continue through this career and just like remain solid throughout it, bro. We're gonna try. So
amen, dude. You want to hit him again with the socials and the album and stuff?
Yes, Eli Yacinthe Music, ELIYACINTHE. It's a long name, but it'll hopefully be right here somewhere. And Mikhail will put it up somewhere. Yeah, thank you, bro.
I'll throw it up.
And and the album is called Patience, and I hope you guys like it, and hope you'll try to check me out online. See, I'll probably, if by the time this is out, I'll probably have a show somewhere around wherever you are. So check me out and come see me and say hi. And yes, much love.
Hell yeah.
And
thanks for coming on, buddy.
No, thank you so much, bro, for real.
Dude, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for this album. It sounds awesome. I'm fucking proud of you. You're killing. I love also that the vinyl that I bought from you, the single. When people come over, I show them that. I go, look at this. The same way I showed you these songs, I'm like, look at this. He says my name at the beginning. But I'm proud of you, dude. I'm so happy for you, and I just really hope the best for you, man. I'm glad that you also want to do this podcast. I know you could go do like other way more like established things, but like I'm very happy that you like to come do this podcast,
dude. I'm always trying to bring it back home, and also you're just such a solid person, and
dude.
And I appreciate like the energy that you always give when we talk, and you're really interested, and you are really interested in like the soul of the music and the emotion, and I don't know, I just enjoy talking to you,
Hell yeah, dude. I appreciate it, man. Everyone, brush your teeth, make your bed, stay beautiful, stay whatever, do your best. I love you guys. Bye.
Peace. Dude, I was trying to sample my stomach earlier because it was like growling.
You want a snack, dude? Oh, I have to pee so bad.
Now's the fucking time! 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 Now, if any of you sons of bitches got anything else to say, now's the fucking time! I didn't think so. 今日はこれまでにしましょう。